Hello everyone, this is Shalu Kumar again from OSCE Nurse Training Cambridge. I'm an experienced OSCE Nurse trainer for the NMC OSCE exam in UK and also the lead trainer for OSCE Nurse Training Cambridge. Welcome back to another video by ONTC. So if you like our videos, please press the like button now and subscribe to my channel. I really like how you've been sending a lot of feedback and comments that these videos are really helping you. So that's my aim. So we are back. I'm back with another video today. So as we have been doing common fail videos in last few weeks, so I'm going to do another one for your API station. So you have guessed it. So this is the assessment station because this was the only one left. So we are going to look at what are the common fails in assessment station, and my top tips means obviously I will give you some ideas how you can stay safe and not make those mistakes, because these has been really if I look at back last 6 to 8 months, over a year even, these have been the main common fails. Now assessment station is your 20-minute station in your exam, so it's with a real person as well. It's with a real actor, with real patient as in real actor, so a lot can go wrong, and that's why it's no surprise this is one of the most failed station in OSCE. Okay, so this is the station most failed in OSCE exam. So let's look at these common fails and let's see how we can avoid those mistakes and not make those mistakes and not fall into those traps. Okay, the first one, as on your screen, fail to chart vitals correctly. So as you know, as a quick refresher, in assessment you have to do vitals, you have to do A2E assessment, and then you got to go ahead and do the patient holistic assessment of the nursing needs. So those are the main parts to the assessment station. If you look at it simply, I like to keep things simple. So just telling you the basic idea of assessment is admitting a person. Okay, so when you think about assessment station, always think about assessment station as admitting a person on your ward or clinical area, or if you're in community, GP has sent you in a care home or in a patient house to go and assess their clinical condition basically. So that's what assessment is. Assessment is basically assessing somebody's clinical condition at that time and working out their nursing needs. So for clinical condition, it's obvious that you have to do vitals, you have to do A2E assessment, because that is part of working out how somebody clinically is at that present time. And then you talk about the nursing needs, and that becomes your holistic assessment. So that's simply what assessment station is. So think about a admission or like going into community and assessing someone. So that's what simply it is. So no wonder the first common fail is plotting the vitals. So not many fails on doing the vitals, because we all know how to do the vitals, but some of overseas nurses do not use news chart or GCS chart back home. So that's why this becomes a bit difficult. Okay, so this is the most common fail, is not charting correctly. So how do you make sure that you know how to chart on the news chart and how to chart on the GCS chart? And you can go ahead and watch my videos on those. So I have added the links of those two particular videos to the description of this video below. So it's really important. First thing is to understand how to plot correctly on news and how to plot correctly on GCS chart if you get a neuro scenario. So I have already covered those very clearly in those videos. So go back for revision so that you understand that you're not going to make those mistakes. Second thing is always practice charting. Okay, don't think you will be able to do an exam. Practice and practice again. Just make your own vitals and just keep practicing, keep plotting. Why? Because the boxes are so small, especially on news. It just is easy to make a mistake. Put a dot in a different box, or instead of dot put a alphabet. So you exactly need to know what to do, which are in my videos, and then practice. Okay, make your vitals and just practice it. Practice 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns actually, and practice those. And same for GCS. Practice how to do neuro-obs and just chart correctly. Okay, so that's really important. Next thing is, in your exam, it's not only just the charting. I put it with the news because it's verbalizing exactly as well. means obviously working out the correct new score, total new score has to be correct, and you have to clearly verbalize what is your total new score and what is your monitoring frequency and escalation. Now that's really important to verbalize that, because it's part of your marking criteria and it has to be done clearly. You tell your patient how often you will do their vitals, and if you need to escalate their care to somebody else, because on the chart you put Y or N, Y for yes and for no for escalation, but in verbalization you need to clearly say who you're going to escalate it to. So again, watch the video, it goes through kind of news, one of my assessment videos goes through the news frequency and escalation as well, and also you can look on, you can just find online news frequency and escalation from the Royal College of Physicians, goes to news chart, and there is the policy as well for escalation. So that's that. And the next thing is, don't forget to add date, time and patient details. Now this has been very frustrating fail for some of the nurses. They do absolutely wonderful with charting, they work out the correct score, they say the correct monitoring frequency and everything, but they have not added patient details to the chart. Okay, and date, time and patient details, whatever they're asking you on the chart. So please watch the video again. I am showing you every single section clearly, how to complete it, go back to it and practice that way. So that's really important, because it's a very, very common fail. News charting or GCS charting, charting of the vital is the most common fail, not only in assessment station. If I look overall in the whole exam, this is the most common failed station. Next one is number 2, fail to complete A2E assessment correctly. Now this one, so you have to do A2E assessment as part of your assessment station. Doesn't matter whether you are in community scenario, neuro scenario or hospital patient scenario, you still have to complete full A2E assessment, because vitals don't give you the whole story of our patient clinical condition. So that's why we follow, obviously we do the vitals, but we need to look at the A2E as well, which is airway, breathing, circulation, disability and exposure. So I have already done video on that, so please watch that in detail, what does these things mean and how we do A2E assessment as per our marking criteria. Again, lots and lots of fails on this one, and you can't be just like relaxed with this. So like in breathing, you can't just say the respiratory rate and the saturations and little bit more about, oh, you got cough or whatever. No, that's not enough. Look at your marking criteria. It's such a detailed assessment of the breathing pattern. So when we look at the breathing pattern, we just don't only look at the rate of breathing and the saturation. It's a lot more than that. The rhythm, the depth, the use of any extra muscles, any seesaw breathing, any sweating, any other sound, any cyanosis. So that is really, really important that you do in-depth respiratory pattern assessment. And you can also put your hands on patient chest to work out if their chest is moving equally on both sides. So it's really, really, really important that if you rush with it would definitely be a critical fail. So breathing, circulation, so you need to know every element, what they're asking in the marking criteria and where to put into your A, B, C, D, E. So I put the marking criteria again like that part of it on the screen. So make sure that you understand it, you have watched the video which I am showing you what these things mean. If you're not 100% sure, watch the video again and make sure you're doing it correctly all the way, starting from airway going all the way to exposure. Okay, so don't miss anything, nothing. You can't rush any element, even small thing missed, it would be critical fail. Like in exposure these days, exposure, you have to review patient medical history, which is already given to you on your on your patient overview history form, but you do need to review it. If you don't review it as part of exposure, which has been very common fail, then it is a fail. So I'm reminding you again. Okay, how can you practice your A2E assessment that you are meeting that marking criteria? Because sometimes it's hard to tell, because you think you know it, but you're missing things. But how do you know you're missing things? Why don't you just only that part of the station, why don't you record yourself? okay, and listen again to yourself, thinking, am I including this, am I including this, am I including this, am I including all the elements in A2E assessment? So you could do that, just that part A, voice record yourself and listen A and mark against the marking criteria. So very good tip for that. Okay, number 3 is fail to conduct a holistic assessment. So you do know that in your assessment station with your real actor, you have to do systematic holistic assessment. So you do your vitals, you do your A2E assessment, that's just some part of it. Then but you still need to work out patient nursing needs and what's wrong with your patient and how you can help your patient to address those nursing needs. So that's what's called holistic assessment. So if you look at your overview history form, as I put it on your screen, you can see they're already giving you the headings that these kind of the things you need to think about. Like in physical assessment, you talk about any activities of daily living, like any problems your patient is having. So make sure you choose relevant problems. You don't need to look into all activities of daily living, you just have to look into some depending on your scenario. Okay, so that's the first thing. So that's just physical needs of the patient. Look at this, they have given you psychosocial, social history of the patient. Think about, is there any family needs for the patient, any emotional needs for the patient, is patient anxious, patient worried, does the family need to know how they are in hospital? So all those things. Okay, next one is spiritual. So does your patient has any specific religious needs, or you can offer them visit from chaplaincy, anything like that. Okay, sexual needs, again, just very quickly, like, it's like kind of protecting your patient privacy. That's more about it. Okay, again, I have done already the assessment video, so go back into the video and have I've added the link of the video to description of this video below. I have added all the links today to this video, so making sure that you can revise from the same place. So go ahead and watch that. And then number 4 now, failed to conduct a relevant assessment. So now your examiner will be looking at that whatever scenario they have given you and your patient diagnosis and present complaint, that you are addressing those. Okay, so your examiner is looking at that, so make sure your assessment is relevant to your scenario. I do see a lot of stuff in mock exam sometime that you're doing your mock exam and you reading the scenario, but you're not taking it in, you're just reading it for reading it. Okay, very quickly, you don't want to waste too much time because it's counted in your 20 minutes, but you're not taking it in, what's wrong with your patient, and then that becomes a problem. Then your holistic assessment is not relevant because you talk about things which are not relevant problems for your patient. So you need to make sure they already given you patient history form, so use it. It's for your use. It's like having patient notes in hand before going and admitting someone, but not reading them. Okay, or not taking it in, what's wrong with your patient. You wouldn't expect to go and see a patient without knowing what's wrong with them, so they have given you that information. Make use of it. So like I said, look at the screen, I've highlighted things. So these are the things you should be discussing with your patient. So the overview history form is there to help you, so use it to help you, and make sure that whatever you discuss with your patient is relevant, is in the admission in that form. Okay, and you got the real actor there, ask them as well. Okay, so that's really important that you go into relevant assessment, relevant nursing needs according to patient scenario, diagnosis, and reflecting that you have read your patient overview history form. That's the whole purpose of giving you that form. Okay, number 5, fail to complete the station in 20 minutes. Right, so this is a very again a very common fail, that you don't get to do all of your station in 20 minutes. Right, so which would be obviously a fail, because you need to obviously do your vitals, plot the vitals, do the A2E assessment, and go into holistic assessment of your patient. If any element is missing, is a critical fail. So how can you improve on that? So the first thing is make sure there is no extra reading time of the patient overview history form. You have to read it as part of your 20 minutes. So when you read it, please read it with care. You can underline if you wish to do so. Examiner doesn't mark that paper, they only mark your charting. So make sure you can underline things or taking in the information, reading it with a purpose. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Even if you spend 30 seconds reading in the beginning or a minute reading, that's absolutely fine. You can do it quicker, but not skim through it, but still read it with purpose, because otherwise even if you skim through it, it's waste of time because you're not taking anything in. So when you read it with a purpose and take in, really look for what's wrong with your patient, what's the diagnosis, what are they presenting complaints, anything in their social needs which need discussing. So just underline it or make a note of a mental note of it. So make sure and go back to it when you discuss holistic assessment with your patient. You can go back to it. So that's it. So make use of your time. If you're reading it, read with care. Other thing is prioritize taking and recording vitals and doing your A2E assessment, completing it. So prioritize that bit first. Worry about the nursing needs and everything later on, because if you worry about it too much, you don't concentrate on your vitals and A2E assessment, and that is a very common fail. So don't do that. Prioritize your documentation because examiner is going to mark that, and also your A2E assessment has to be complete. Don't miss anything. And the last but not least one is that when you talk about your holistic assessment, complete all parts of the holistic assessment, but you can be quicker but be systematic. So you will make most of your time if you're following that order of physical, social, and then religious, spiritual, and sexual needs. So if you follow a systematic approach, you will be much quicker at getting it done. And again, if you relate it to your scenario and get help from that paper, you'll be much quicker. You won't be just standing there thinking randomly. No, use that paper they given you. That is the best use of your time, to use that information. Okay, and again, practice with a timer. Practice and keep going. I can't tell you how many times you have to practice this station to get it right. It is difficult. It is the longest station in your exam. It's a lot of different elements can go wrong. So it will need the most practice in OSCE. So, and it's with a real actor. So your communication with the actor has to be correct. So lot of practice. Do it with a friend, family member, whoever you want to practice with. But make sure you're practicing it in real time. And you are just keep going. You have to do a lot of time to get this right. Okay, so these are my top tips for obviously common fails for this station. So I hope you like the video. If you do, please press the like button now and subscribe to my channel. I will soon be back with another video for you. And also you can email us on oskinurstraining@outlook.com and visit our website on oskinurstraining.com. So I will see you soon with another video. Bye for now.